Hello and welcome to KJ's Kitchen. I'm KJ. I'm a master fitness trainer for the past 13 years. I am a fitness nutrition specialist, and most important to me, I'm a happy mom serving up healthy meals from my kitchen to yours. So today we're baking cookies. Cookies happen, right? Anyone who doesn't like a cookie is lying. So if you're one of those people, you comment in the field and tell me, if you say you don't like cookies, tell me why. Well, these are going to be a conscious cookie. That's actually what I'm naming them, conscious cookie. The original recipe started off as a lactation cookie. Does not mean you put breast milk in it. It means that it can help with healthy nutrient load to produce healthier breast milk. Cool enough, right? So it has been modified since. And what I don't love about healthy baking, which I incorporate a lot of, don't get me wrong, it usually is going to have banana or cinnamon in it because that's a great way of sweetening without adding so much sugar. Well, that's what I love about these cookies. They're not banana cookies, and they are delicious, and they are so packed with nutrients. So let's get baking. You're gonna set your oven to 350. I'll do that right now. Get that oven warming up. And if you're not a cookie maker, I'm gonna let you know we separate wet and dry ingredients. So we're gonna start with the dry ingredients, because when you're using a teaspoon for dry and wet, it's best to start dry. That's why I always start with the dry anyway. First, we're gonna talk about our flour. You can use 1 cup of flour of your choice. Sure, it can be white flour, but we're talking conscious cooking here, conscious baking. You can do a gluten-free all-purpose that substitutes 1 for 1. You can make your own gluten-free blend. There is a little science to that. I could share a little later, maybe in a blog. But what I'm using today, and there's whole wheat, there's organic, there's so many flour options. I am using lupin. So if you are not familiar with lupin, it is a bean. And what's cool about this is it's a plant-based protein, and it has absolutely 0 starch. So that's pretty cool. 0 starch, high protein. For 1/2 cup, you got 22 grams of protein. We're using a cup. That means 44 grams of protein are going into my 30 cookies. That's a little over 1 gram of protein per cookie just from my flour choice alone. Now, to be dead honest, what I don't love about this particular blend, I'm sure there are more on the market. I found this one at Walmart, actually. What I don't love is it does incorporate a little soy flour. I try to avoid soy altogether, but I also am a realist, and so long as everything's in moderation, it's a go. And that's why today, using 1 cup of this in my cookies, I'm okay with. But you can go ahead and choose any type of flour that suits you. Whole wheat, whatever you got. We're gonna do 1 cup. Get this rocking in here. And if you're not familiar with the lupin flour, I'll show it to you. It's very, very fine and powdery. Super fine and powdery. It reminds me of almond flour or coconut flour. It's very kind of sweet to the palate. It is very, delicious, so to say the least. Then we're gonna switch over and we're gonna do oats. Now, again, here's my philosophy on oats. I do prefer steel cut oats if you're gonna eat them, right? Eat it the way it comes. But for this particular cookie, I'm using gluten-free instant oats, quick oats, because they kind of mush into the batter a lot easier. They're less oatmeal cookies for your kids if you have kids munching on this stuff. And we're gonna go ahead and hit a cup of oats. Here we go. And last but not least, we're gonna rock to the almond meal. So you could be doing 2 cups of flour, but why when you could be a little more conscious, adding in more healthy fats and proteins and fiber from your almond meal. So 1 cup of flour, 1 cup of oats, 1 cup of almond meal. I'm already up to 3 cups here of goodness. This is gonna be a large batch of cookies. They freeze really well. There's my 1 cup of almond meal. And now let's talk quickly if you're not familiar with nutritional yeast. Now this is not the same thing as brewer's yeast, the things you can sprinkle on, I know brewer's yeast is very popular. This is not the same thing as yeast that you add to your bread. This is called nutritional yeast, and it is nutritional. So it's gluten-free, as is all of the flours we just used. The lupin is also gluten-free. And it's loaded with vitamins. I don't know if this is gonna be backwards to you guys, but you can see that vitamin load, all of that. I'm talking 310% of your riboflavin, your niacin, your B6, lots of Bs, 150% of B6, B12, you got folate in here. We're doing a half cup. Did I tell you these are conscious cookies? Do a half cup of these puppies. Here we go. And it's very flaky. If you've never seen nutritional yeast before, it almost looks like delicious little flakes. I say delicious because we put it on our popcorn and it is delicious. Instead of Parmesan cheese, it is a great vegan alternative to Parmesan cheese. And now we're gonna keep this little half cupper because I'm going for ground flax meal. This is not the same as flax seeds. You want it to be the meal. So again, it becomes a nice dough versus the seeds, which would leave it really crunchy for the kids. But speaking of seeds, we've got chia seeds. Amazing, healthy fats, really awesome. And you know what? They also become glutinous. So even if any of the things I'm putting in here aren't as glutinous, this kind of gets a very, it absorbs liquid and helps hold things together. So we're doing a half cup of chia seed. Here we go. Now this may look like, how on earth can this taste good? I promise you, they taste phenomenal. You're gonna love them. And I actually see that Pam just joined us, and they are very good to go in the freezer. So if you make this huge batch and it's 30 to 40 cookies, and it's a breakfast cookie for you or grab and go for a smart snack, you can freeze them or just do half batch of everything. Last but not least, for the dry ingredients, we're gonna go with a teaspoon of baking soda and then a teaspoon of salt. Again, if you've watched my segments, you know that we like to use pink Himalayan sea salt. So I'll rock and roll that puppy there. And that's that. A whole big bowl of dried, nutritious, amazing flour base. And guess what? There's no flour in it unless you chose to use a flour for the lupin. That will be all up to you. So I just give it a little toss around. We do the dry and the wet separately because it's gonna avoid clumping, and it's actually gonna make the cookies more easily like there's so many ingredients, you can distribute the ingredients into two, all wet, all liquid, and then each bite is gonna taste just as good. If you start throwing them in one by one and stirring as you go, you might get non-equal distribution of these fine ingredients. So giving it a little toss, we're gonna move into wet ingredients. All right, and here we go. You are going to do 1/2 cup of coconut oil. I use this little guy. You can use the liquid measurements. I do that because I'm gonna be measuring peanut butter or your choice of nut butter. I like peanut butter. And I like to have that oil in there first. It makes my peanut butter slip out easier. So I use that little 1/2 cupper there. And when it comes to peanut butter, you're gonna want natural, not the stuff that comes with already the additives, the sugars, and it's very, like that style of Jif or Skippy or all that sort of stuff. You will wanna reach for a natural. We do organic. This came from Walmart, I think under $3. This one's crunchy or creamy, your preference. We're gonna do a 1/2 cup of the peanut butter. And like I had said, I oiled up that cup first, so it'll help this peanut butter slide out easier. Now I store my peanut butter in the refrigerator, and so what I do before baking these cookies, same with my eggs, is that I take them out in the morning knowing I'm gonna be doing it, and it gets back to room temperature. Makes it easier on your life. Watch that. Bloop. How easy. Easy peasy. That's the way I like it in this kitchen. Less mess once you oiled up your cup, right? Smart thinking, KJ. All right, we're gonna move on to our sugars. Now, I told you in the beginning, no, we don't have banana and cinnamon to sweeten these cookies, we are using sugar. And you can use a mindful substitute like I have taught you in the past. You can use coconut palm sugar, which is going to have a little bit more nutrition behind the sugar count. But what I'm doing today, instead of a cup of sugar, I'm separating it, and I'm doing a half cup. Where did my little halfer go? Half cup brown sugar, half cup raw sugar. And we will put that right on top, that delicious peanut butter. That's the brown. And the raw, you know, in Denmark, when I say brown, they're like, oh, and they think like raw, sugar in the raw. They're different. Brown sugar and raw sugar, that's what we're doing. Half and half, that equals 1 cup total. We're gonna get our vanilla in there. We're gonna go for 1 teaspoon vanilla. And I'm just adding all this in right now as one, and we're gonna smush it all together. 2 eggs. Room temperature, because of the coconut oil, we don't want it to solidify. So I pop those eggs out into a cup, and then I leave them out of their shell, and they can warm up quicker. So we got that going on, and last but not least, your choice of milk alternative. Now, yes, if your family drinks milk, we do. We usually choose raw milk, so that doesn't bake or cook as easily. We do a milk alternative when baking. So I chose vanilla unsweetened cashew milk, and we're gonna go for 1/2 cup. And then, ooh, my oily fingers feel slippery. I'm gonna do this so I don't drop the entire thing. Here we go, 1/2 cup here. Yes, that looks good. And we're gonna give her a little whisk around. So smushing this stuff up, getting the liquid ingredients to become one large ingredient, that's our goal. And then we'll slowly add in the dry. Does that seem healthy enough already? Just wait, we're adding more. More health and nourishment. So this is mindful for moms whose kids love to get their hands in the cookie jar. You can be really certain that you're giving your kids so much nourishment between healthy fats, vitamins, minerals, and healthy proteins because you opted for this type of cookie. The conscious cookie. Okay, here we go. I'm losing the whisk, and I'm bringing in, can you guys see here? Yes, I'm bringing in my dry ingredients. And I'm gonna go for about, I don't know, 1/3 of it. And just take my dandy little spatula and fold it in, start to work it together. It will get nice and thick like cookie dough. Get this mixed in for you. Just don't tell people how healthy they are, and then they're just gonna love them. I feel like when you tell people you've got a healthy option, they're waiting for that like one textural difference or that one little touch of the tongue to be like, oh, no, thanks. I'll stick with my sugar peanut butter and my sugar, you know, chocolate chip, all that good stuff. Here we go, we're putting in the rest of the flour. And let's give this puppy a stir. Now, when I made these, the original recipe as a lactation cookie that I had gotten given to me from a lady in my birth belly dancing class, I modified it tremendously. And so I have made these multiple times through the last year as a breastfeeding mother, but they just keep getting better every time I modify them. And it has become a cookie that my husband actually loves. My daughter easily will eat the whole thing without just picking out the chocolate chips. Sometimes a healthy cookie or a healthy muffin, she'll just try to aim for the chocolate chips and try to leave the good stuff behind. So these are definitely a go. All right, that's what it's gonna look like. Now we're gonna add the yummy stuff. So, what's a cookie without chocolate chips, huh? So I'm going for dark cacao. This is 60%. Yes, I know I can get the organic version at Aldi, but I didn't have a chance to run there. And we're gonna rock out with, where's my little cup? My little good cup. With a cup. That sounds like a lot, right? But again, lots of cookies, not highly sweetened. 1 cup of sugar in this entire giant batch. I'm gonna do 1 cup of this. And now the delicious parts, which I say a cup of fun. You can mix and match what other cup you're adding. I'm doing half walnuts, half sunflower seeds, roasted and salted. That extra saltiness just does so much tastiness for a sweet and salty cookie. So half and half to equal 1 full cup. When I say a cup of fun, maybe you prefer almonds or roasted hazelnuts or pistache, or you can play around. You could, instead of the chocolate chips, you could do half chocolate chips and half dried fruit like raisins or cranberries. So I'm gonna go half and half on these puppies. Half walnuts. There we go. Half sunflower seeds. And now when I run out of walnuts, I use sunflower seeds for any of my baking. They show up really well in baked goods. If you haven't played around with them, you surely should. There we go. Give that a nice little fold. Those Ghirardelli chocolate chips are like monster chips. I didn't quite realize they would be so big. I just grabbed that bag this morning. They are really large chips, so all that means is more fun for my daughter, right? She's gonna be really excited to see giant chocolate chips in her cookies today. We're gonna just make sure everything's well distributed. It is a nice thick dough. Like, it is like, ooh, I'm getting strong just stirring this, getting my bicep workout on. And what we're gonna do is just put this on a non-stick cookie sheet. I always line mine with parchment paper, or I use my Silpat. Love, love, love my Silpat. If you're not familiar what a Silpat is, it's just the silicone, easy. I use it for baking. Nothing sticks to it. And so I'm gonna pop that in the oven for about 20 minutes. I would say about a tablespoon size. I did grab my dandy tablespoon out here. Let's see if I can find it as I fish around. Here it is. That's a knife. I found a knife. So I thought I had a tablespoon for you guys. I did. A good tablespoon. I like them big. They're not gonna flatten out like a regular chocolate chip cookie. They're gonna stay nice and folded. So I would say a good tablespoon, rounded tablespoon size. And space them out a little. They do grow slightly, but nothing that's gonna start spreading into each other. You're gonna put that in the oven for about 20 minutes until golden brown, and you are gonna have an amazing conscious cookie. I call it a breakfast cookie at my first post today because they do taste great with coffee. Great for the kiddos too, grab and go. Awesome snacks loaded with fiber, protein, nourishment. I'm talking minerals and vitamins, guys. We're all gonna eat a cookie, but if we can eat more mindfully every time we do eat those good things, you're even gonna be better off. So hopefully you enjoyed today's segment. I'm gonna post what these look like in the comment field after they come out. I'm not gonna make you wait 20 minutes to see. I'll be posting those in the comment field along with a link. Now this link is going to give you access to today's recipe as well as my future recipes and those I've already done. If you are already subscribed, meaning you've already clicked a link in the past, no need to do it. You're gonna get this recipe once it's posted sometime today. But if you have any friends on Facebook who would love to see some of these Happy Mom, Healthy Meal segments, please tag them or share this to their wall or your own wall. And I would love and appreciate all of that support. And please have a blessed Wellness Wednesday. Catch you here every Wednesday, 12 o'clock in KJ's Kitchen, guys. Have a fabulous rest of your week.